All right, y'all. Get into the chat, man. We got, oh my gosh. This is not going to be one of those, happy go reviews. No, we're going to do a lot of ranting tonight. This is not going to be one of those positive, middle-of-the-road reviews. This is going to be one of, oh man. WWE, you never surprised me. And you idiots in the community. You idiots in the YWC. I'm going to make y'all look stupid tonight. So get in the chat if you guys are here for the stream. If you guys are watching, after the review has been posted. You guys can fast forward a couple seconds. But let's get into it. Let's do this. Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy, Fitz1TV here, aka GLauren33, and I am back here tonight with the Legit Shoot podcast, here with your Elimination Chamber results and review for March 8th, 2020. This was the final pay-per-view before WrestleMania. All right, we only have about 4 short weeks remaining till WrestleMania 36, unless it gets postponed or something because of the virus going around. But right now, there's no sign really of WWE canceling WrestleMania or any of their live shows. All right, but this show, man, Elimination Chamber. I didn't even do a Smackdown review this week because Smackdown was so pointless to me outside of, because I love Sasha Banks, outside of her match with Lacey Evans and Naomi, and the Heavy Machinery, they're very impressive showing in the Gauntlet match. There was really nothing else of importance that happened on SmackDown, so I just didn't feel the need to do a review. I just didn't do it. I just skipped it this week. All right? And the way this WrestleMania build has gone, it doesn't even feel like WrestleMania season. It really doesn't. The WrestleMania card, when you look at it from afar, it doesn't look good at all. The rumored WrestleMania card we got before the Royal Rumble, back at Survivor Series, when we were all making our mock WrestleMania cards, we thought, hell, this could be a really good WrestleMania this year. Now when you look at it, as you see the WrestleMania card is starting to take shape, and there's still a handful of matches that we don't know that are going to be on the card. We have a good amount of the card fleshed out, but there's another half of the card that we have no idea what the hell WWE's planning. Because Vince McMahon, he's so freaking out of touch these days that he's ripping up scripts, he's going back and forth on making decisions, and it is ruining this company. The amount of talent that this company has, booking WrestleMania should be easy. And yes, I understand there's going to be names that are unfortunately not going to be on the WrestleMania card. That's just the way it is. Because WWE has so much, just an abundance of talent. That's why I've been suggesting, WWE should really consider making WrestleMania a 2-night event. Making it a 2-night event. So you can have more matches and you can give the stars that actually deserve to be on the card a match. Because right now, when you look at it, this WrestleMania card, I'm not excited for WrestleMania at all. At all. I am not excited for WrestleMania. This card looks absolute garbage, in my opinion. Absolute garbage, and I'm not excited. Elimination Chamber tonight. In years past, Elimination Chamber has been such an important show on the road to WrestleMania. When you looked at the card they had tonight for Elimination Chamber, outside of the Raw Women's Elimination Chamber match, which was a complete shit show, which I'm going to shit all over tonight, this show was an absolute joke. This card was an absolute joke. They legit just put a bunch of matches you would see on TV and booked it for a pay-per-view. Because they had nothing. You want to know why? Because I said this back in November when we had Crown Jewel. I said this last May when we had Super Showdown. WWE thinks it's smart to book one of their dumbass Saudi Arabia shows in between the WrestleMania build, and they decide to have a pay-per-view 2 weeks after, not even 10 days after, a week and a half after a Saudi Arabia show. They put so much effort into their dumbass, terrible Saudi Arabia shows that they had to rush and book the Elimination Chamber like that. And the card looked terrible. Yes, there was a couple positives on the show, but the negatives definitely outweigh the positives tonight. I am not in the mood for positivity. After the complete shit show we saw tonight, we are on the road to WrestleMania, people. That's what you need to understand. That's what y'all need to understand. We are on the road to WrestleMania. We are 4 weeks away from your most important wrestling show of the year. WrestleMania is not only WWE's most important show. It's one of the biggest sporting events all year in sports. WrestleMania is the wrestling equivalent to the NBA Finals, to the Super Bowl, to the World Series, to the Stanley Cup, to the NASCAR Championship, and everything else. It's supposed to be the most important show, not just for WWE, but all of wrestling. And yes, I'm talking AEW, New Japan, House of Glory, Ring of Honor, all of those shows, Impact, TNA, whatever. WrestleMania is supposed to be a showcase of wrestling for the entire industry. And yet, WrestleMania is looking like a complete shit show. I am not excited for WrestleMania at all. And I'm telling you right now, with all the rumors that WWE might be selling its pay-per-view rights for WrestleMania to ESPN Plus, yeah, I have ESPN Plus. It's like $5 a month. But thing about it is, when you go to watch a UFC show or a UFC pay-per-view, you have to pay $60-something for the show on top of the $5 you pay for ESPN Plus. So yes, ESPN costs us $5, but to watch WrestleMania, if WrestleMania gets sold to ESPN Plus, you're gonna have to pay $60. I don't know why, because having on the WWE Network is a steal. It's a steal, but still, man, are you kidding me right now? I will not pay $60 to watch WrestleMania on ESPN Plus. Either it stays on the network or I'll find some other way to watch WrestleMania. I have other ways I can watch WrestleMania. That's absolutely ridiculous. With the way you have booked WrestleMania, with the way you have built this card, with the way you have absolutely buried talent, you really expect me to care about WrestleMania? I should be invested in every single storyline, every single match that you have planned for WrestleMania. But I'm sorry, I'm not invested. Other than really Edge and Randy Orton and maybe a little bit of Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, I'm not invested in anything on this card. I'm not excited. I love Rhea Ripley, but I'm not excited for Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's one of the main reasons why WrestleMania is looking so terrible this year. Because Vince McMahon can't get that blonde agenda out of his head. You had Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble. And it has absolutely, that one decision of having Charlotte win the Royal Rumble has absolutely messed up all the plans for WrestleMania in terms of the women's division. Look, you just had Shayna Baszler bury the entire Raw Women's division tonight, outside of Becky and Charlotte. Liv Morgan, who I'm becoming a huge advocate for, because I can see her becoming a top babyface in that women's division. And Liv Morgan has a lot of fans. You buried her. All right, Natalya. I don't like Natalya. I don't give a shit about Natalya. But you buried her. She's a prominent name in the women's division. What about Sarah Logan? What about Ruby Riott? What about Asuka? The one person in this match, the one interaction, I kind of wanted to see Liv Morgan interact with Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan C, because, you know, the Riott Squad feud they're having going on. I kind of want to see some kind of interaction. But damn, are you kidding me right now? The one interaction I was really excited for, Shayna Baszler and Asuka. arguably the two most dominant women that ever come out of NXT, outside, of course, of the 4 horsewomen. You fed Asuka to Shayna Baszler. Here's one thing I don't understand. Shayna's, because I know Shayna's going to defeat Becky. Unless Vince tears off the script at the last moment. You're not telling me Shayna's going to defeat Becky at WrestleMania. So you're telling me, who the hell is Shayna going to face? Because really, there's only a couple names I can actually think of that could give Shayna Baszler a legit challenge in that women's division. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte, of course, all the 4 horsewomen. I thought Asuka until they fed Asuka to Shayna Baszler tonight. And a couple of names from NXT, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. That's pretty much it. There's nobody else in any of the women's divisions in all of WWE that could give Shayna Baszler a legit challenge. So you're telling me, if Shayna indeed goes on to defeat Becky at WrestleMania like she should, who the hell is Shayna going to face over the next year? Because we all know what's the big money match after that, right? After that, we're going to probably get Shayna versus Charlotte. Because I don't see Charlotte defeating Rhea Ripley. Alright, we might get Shayna versus Sasha. I don't know how that can happen. Maybe because I expect Sasha to stay on SmackDown. Unless he gets, brought back over the Raw in the next shakeup or whatever. But I don't see that happening. Other than that, who can Shayna face? The only other big money match outside of the 4 horsewomen that you could do with Shayna Baszler is Shayna versus Ronda Rousey at either SummerSlam or WrestleMania next year in LA. There is legit nobody that's going to defeat Shayna Baszler. You legit buried your entire women's division tonight. All of this could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided. You did not have to bury Liv Morgan, Natalya, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Asuka tonight. You didn't. She buried Kairi Sane on Monday. And trust me, guys. Trust me. This is not me hating on Shayna Baszler. It's not me hating on Shayna Baszler at all. This is me shitting on WWE Creative because they don't know what the hell they're doing. This company is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Makes 0 sense what they did. What? There was reports over the weekend that Shayna was originally supposed to win the Royal Rumble. They changed last minute because Vince McMahon started to second guess. Was second guessing, if Shayna could be a legit contender for WrestleMania. Okay. So what? Your next logical choice was Charlotte? I want you guys to stick with me too. I want you guys to understand where I'm going with this. I'm going to legit explain. Because honestly, this was the biggest thing to talk about the Elimination Chamber. Most of the review will be me just ranting and shitting on the women's division. This was absolutely unnecessary what we saw tonight. I don't give a damn what anybody goes on Twitter or social media and says, oh, this had to happen. You had to make Shayna Baszler look like a beast. While burying your entire women's division in the process. So when Shayna does become champion, who is she going to have to face? Why should we care? Why should we care about Shayna versus Asuka or Shayna versus Liv Morgan or anybody like that in the future when she legit buried all of them tonight? Tell me why we should care then. Huh? When Shayna becomes champion, alright? Down the road, if we get like a Shayna versus Liv Morgan match or a Shayna versus Natalya match at like an Extreme Rules or a Night of Champions or a Money in the Bank or some kind of pay-per-view down the line. Why the hell am I going to care about that? Why? You buried the entire women's division tonight. But no, people like Shayna had to do this tonight. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. And like I said, this is not me shitting on Shayna Baszler. This is me shitting on WWE Creative. I need a tissue. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. Like I was saying, this was so unnecessary tonight. And I'm going to explain to you guys why. At the Royal Rumble, reports had it that Shayna was supposed to win the Rumble, right? Okay, Shayna Baszler comes in at number 30, right? She wins the Women's Royal Rumble match. All right, fine. She wins, and then, they make it clear, I'm going after the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, right? Then you build somebody up for Becky the Face. You could continue having her feud with Asuka. Maybe have her feud with Kairi Sane. Maybe have Becky feud with Ruby Riott. Credible names in that women's division. Because like I've been saying, I don't give a damn what anybody says. Becky Lynch's 1 year as champion has been awful. Outside of the 2 months she feuded with Sasha Banks when Sasha Banks came back after SummerSlam and her mini feud with Asuka over the last couple months, her title reign has been garbage. Yeah, she walks around with that stupid ass jacket calling herself the GOAT, saying, I defeated Ronda Rousey, I defeated Charlotte, I defeated Sasha, I defeated Asuka, and all these other names. Who cares? When you honestly look back at Becky Lynch's title reign, it has been awful. Awful. Her 3-month feud with Lacey Evans was trash. Her match with Natalya at SummerSlam was trash. Her 2 months feuding against Sasha Banks was the best part. Survivor Series, remember how disappointing that triple threat with Bayley, Shayna, and Becky was? Garbage. Then you had her team up with Charlotte to go after the tag team championships, making the Raw Women's Championship look unimportant. Garbage. Then she feuded with Asuka for about a month and a half, which was actually decent. So what? 3 months out of 12, a title reign full of garbage. And yet, she defended that championship against Asuka. What was it, beginning of February? That was when Shayna made her debut on Monday Night Raw when she bit Becky's neck like a vampire. Yeah. So here we go. WrestleMania is the first week of April. So by then, it would have been another 2 months that Becky hadn't defended the title. But y'all won't say anything because y'all love Becky Lynch. That's how stupid y'all in the community are. I don't care. I used to be a Becky Lynch fan too. But the Becky agenda, the way she's been portrayed the last couple weeks, it's been garbage. I cannot wait for Becky to lose that championship. What up, Junior? Good to see you. See, look, if you guys are in the stream, if you guys are watching this, after the stream, you guys can look at the live chat. But look, Junior is legit telling you how the women's division should have been booked for WrestleMania. You have Shayna win the Royal Rumble, and then Charlotte did not need to win the Rumble match to challenge Rhea Ripley. You could have done almost anything to have Rhea Ripley and Charlotte end up facing each other without having Charlotte needing to win the Rumble. Charlotte winning the Rumble ruined everything. Because now, Shayna, she comes from Monday Night Raw. She's still technically an NXT superstar. She was never, drafted or there was no shakeup, But you have, if you have Shayna win the Royal Rumble, Charlotte can go on to go challenge Rhea Ripley without needing to win the Rumble, right? You can have Rhea Ripley come up to Monday Night Raw to challenge Charlotte. You can have Charlotte go down to NXT. You could have done anything. And then, tonight with the Elimination Chamber, what we should have got was the SmackDown Women's Championship Chamber match. And that should set up Sasha and Bayley for Mania. Right now, we have no idea what they're doing with the SmackDown Women's Championship. No idea, and we are 4 weeks away from Mania. Hell, Sasha and Bayley are trolling people on social media that they're not even going to be at Mania. They're not even going to wrestle at WrestleMania. You put all this damn focus into Charlotte, and it messed up everything. If you guys see where I'm coming at now? If Shayna wins the Rumble, right? You don't have to bury your Raw Women's division like you did at the Chamber tonight. You get Charlotte. Charlotte can go on to challenge Rhea Ripley in any way possible. And then you get a SmackDown Women's Chamber match, and that sets up Sasha and Bayley at Mania. Right now, the rumors have it still could be Sasha versus Bayley, but they have no idea. You have legit buried your SmackDown Women's division and the Raw Women's division because of the Charlotte Flair agenda. Because Vince McMahon is that stupid and that out of touch. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Simple logic. WrestleMania was so simple to book this year. So simple. But yet you fucked it up. You fucked it up with your stupidity and not knowing what to do. And now not only have you fucked up your women's division for WrestleMania, you fucked up your women's division for the whole year. Because now you had Shayna bury everybody in the Raw Women's Division tonight. And like I've been saying, when Shayna defeats Becky at WrestleMania, after that, we may get a Shayna versus Becky rematch at Money in the Bank or whatever the next pay-per-view is, right? Maybe we get Shayna versus Charlotte after that, because I don't see Charlotte defeating Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. But I could be wrong knowing this company. And then after that, who knows what they do with Shayna after that? Who knows? We'll probably have a shakeup. We'll probably get maybe Bianca Belair or Nia Jax. I have no idea where you go after that. Because after tonight, outside of Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley, and maybe Bianca Belair, if they don't fuck her up when she gets called up, there is nobody legit for Shayna Baszler to face in the women's division. Outside the 4 horsewomen, Bianca Belair, and Ronda Rousey, there's going to be nobody legit to face Shayna Baszler once she becomes champion. And that's your fault. Because you decided to bury your Raw Women's Division tonight, and you decided to have Charlotte win the Rumble. This all goes back to the Royal Rumble. And now what? Instead of getting Sasha versus Bayley at WrestleMania, we might just get a 6-pack challenge. I hope I'm wrong. But the way things are going, this company's a bunch of retards. Bunch of retards. I could end the review after that. After my 20-minute rant, I could end the review. Because legit, there's nothing else to talk about. Really, outside the Women's Elimination Chamber main event, which was so awful, nothing else happened. We'll talk a little bit about Sami Zayn. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense that Sami Zayn became IC champion. I'm happy for Sami Zayn. The guy finally becomes a champion on the main roster after being on the main roster for nearly 5 years. Remember, Sami Zayn has been on the main roster since 2015. 2015, when he went up against John Cena and they had that great U.S. Championship match in Canada. 5 years since Sami Zayn finally wins a main roster title. But it doesn't make any sense. We had the Smackdown Tag Team Elimination Chamber match, which didn't make any sense. There was some good spots in there, but still, I have no idea where they're going with WrestleMania. I don't. Coming out of the Elimination Chamber, we should have a pretty good idea of all the matches and all the stories they are building towards WrestleMania. I gotta be honest. Coming out of the Elimination Chamber, I have more questions than answers. I have no idea what this company has planned for WrestleMania now. Because that's what happens when you do week-to-week booking. Junior says in the chat, what if Sasha wins the women's Money in the Bank? Look, I'm not against Sasha winning the women's Money in the Bank. I would be super happy. Because I'm going to SummerSlam. And SummerSlam's in Boston, in Sasha's hometown. I would love to see Sasha in a women's championship match at SummerSlam, either winning the title or defending the title. But honestly, at this point, I don't trust this company to do anything right. Not just with Sasha, but the entire women's division. To be honest, I can't focus on women's Money in the Bank. Because yes, after WrestleMania, we have the Money in the Bank pay-per-view in May. But the thing is, I have no idea what they're doing with WrestleMania and the SmackDown Women's Championship and everything else that I really can't even look forward to Money in the Bank. Because after WrestleMania, we have the Superstar Shakeup. That's supposed to be a whole reset. And once we have the Superstar Shakeup, you're supposed to start building not only towards Money in the Bank, not only towards SummerSlam, not only towards Survivor Series, but WrestleMania 37 in LA. Everything you do after the Superstar Shakeup should be in preparation for WrestleMania 37 next year in LA. But the thing about it is, they're not even booking WrestleMania right this year. So why should I trust them to build WrestleMania right next year? Tell me. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope you guys enjoyed that rant. That's gonna go down as one of my most iconic rants. People on Twitter trying to defend, oh, Shayna Baszler had to look like a beast. I understand that. I do. Shayna had to look like a beast. But you buried your entire Raw Women's division in the process. What don't you guys understand about that? And I also don't understand how you guys don't understand. This could have all been avoided if you just had Shayna win the Women's Royal Rumble. Idiots, man. Idiots. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the podcast tonight. We will talk a little bit more about Shayna a little bit later, but I just went nearly 30 minutes ranting on the Raw Women's Division and how WWE fucked this whole situation up with Shayna Baszler, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and everything else. Alright, so basically, really, if you guys stopped watching after like this 25-minute rant I went on, I wouldn't blame you. I really wouldn't. But we're going to go through the other matches we had tonight. We had... I'm so pissed off that I legit forgot. I legit forgot that The Undertaker, one of the greatest, the dead man himself, returned tonight. We're going to go through the rest of this show. But, man, is this company idiot. Oh, my gosh. Really quick in the pre-show, I don't have much to say about this. I'm trying to calm down. We had the Viking Raiders versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I don't know why this was for the pre-show. I didn't give a crap about this. You guys should not give a crap about this. The Viking Raiders, they were the Raw Tag Team Champions a couple months ago. I know. A lot of you probably forgot. But yes, they were the Raw Tag Team Champions a couple months ago. They lost the titles because of the storyline they're doing with Kevin Owens, Murphy and Rollins, AOP, and Street Profits, which we'll discuss in a little bit, which makes zero sense. I have no idea where they're going with the Raw Tag Team titles for WrestleMania. But the Viking Raiders, they're the odd team out. They lost the Raw Tag Team Championships, and now they have no direction for WrestleMania. They will probably both just be involved in the Battle Royal, just like Ryder and Hawkins will be. Yeah. Viking Raiders won this. I didn't watch the match. Who cares? Junior, who the hell is the GOAT? I don't know if you think Becky Lynch is the GOAT, then you're out of your damn mind, I hope. But getting into the Elimination Chamber show itself, first match of the night, we had Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. This, I'm not going to say I was excited for it. I was intrigued. Because Drew Gulak, yes, he's in his hometown, but he's from Pennsylvania, so he got a pretty good reception tonight. But thing about it is, as good as Drew Gulak is, and as good as Drew Gulak Daniel Bryan on paper looks like, Drew Gulak has been absolutely buried on SmackDown for months now. They decided to bring back that retarded ass PowerPoint gimmick. And man, the guy has not been important ever since. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. This guy was doing so well in NXT as the 205 Live Cruiserweight Champion. The guy was doing great. You call him up to the main roster when we have the draft, and the guy's in jobber territory. Yes, I like that he's getting some TV time. He got a pay-per-view match, the opening match with Daniel Bryan. I like that, and that's mostly because of Daniel Bryan, because we know Bryan has a lot of creative control over his character backstage. But I'm sorry, man. You're not going to make Daniel Bryan, you're not going to make Drew Gulak, feel important to me. But the thing about it is, we all know the first match of a pay-per-view It sets the stage for the entire show. We all know this. Junior, I was not hating on The Undertaker. I love The Undertaker. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's right up there with Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, John Cena. You know, he's one of the greatest of all time. If you want to debate who's the greatest of all time, we can. That's a different video. I'm not going to get into that debate tonight. I'm not hating on The Undertaker. I'm just, I'm just analyzing the fact that The Undertaker was on this show tonight, and no one's talking about it. No one gives a crap because of the crap we saw in the main event. That's my point. Undertaker was overshadowed by the terrible booking of tonight's main event. But we'll talk about The Undertaker later. Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan. This was a damn good match. This was a really good match. The crowd was very, very on the side of Daniel Bryan, but of course Gulak did have some momentum and some crowd reaction because this was his hometown. This was about submissions. This was a very technical battle. This was based on submissions, kicked, some like that. And Gulak was able to keep up the pace with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has been on the record for months now saying that he wanted a match with Drew Gulak, and the two definitely delivered. All right. You know, Drew Gulak actually was in control for most of this match, even though Daniel Bryan had, some instances when he made comebacks. He struggled against Drew Gulak, and I like this. This reminded me a lot of the Drew Gulak the Drew Gulak we saw in NXT. All right, imagine Drew Gulak was booked so well in NXT, and then you call him up and he was buried. He was fed the Braun Strowman on his first night on SmackDown. This is the Drew Gulak we should be seeing on SmackDown. The guy is a great wrestler. He's not just good for jobber matches. He's a great wrestler. He could be a valuable name in your mid-card division, contending for an IC or a United States Championship. The guy's that good. Instead of just taking talent from NXT and burying them on the main roster, how would you actually look at their skill set and give them an actual chance to shine and show you what they're made of? That's my problem with this company, man. They have so much talent, but they refuse to use them. They refuse to book them correctly. They just go on and bury them just like that. Can't stand this company. All right. Daniel Bryan decided to make a comeback at the end of the match. Gulak, at the end of the match, he went for the Gulak, his signature submission move. Bryan was able to, reverse that and then get the yes lock for the submission victory. This was a really good match. These are two of the best technicians in WWE, and they showed that in this match. Like I said, Drew Gulak is too good to be a jobber on WWE TV. I don't trust WWE at all, but I hope this, allows Drew Gulak to actually get a little bit more, TV time. I hope he impressed the people backstage enough that he deserves some more TV time. The guy is that good. Stop with the PowerPoint gimmick. Let this guy just go out there and work. The guy is that good. This was a fantastic match to begin the show. One of the only good or positive spots on this match. I expected Daniel Bryan to win. It was a surprise here. I don't know where you go with Daniel Bryan for WrestleMania. I thought, we were going to see... I hope you enjoy that Sausage Bakes Funko you have, Junior. All right. I appreciate that. But I'm not a big Funko collector myself, but still. Where do you go with Daniel Bryan? I thought, you put Daniel Bryan in the IC Championship scene. There's rumors saying we're going to get Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. If we do get that at WrestleMania, that's definitely a kickoff show match. When I look at the WrestleMania card, there's about 4 or 5 matches that deserve to be on the kickoff show. Legit. And the thing about it is, if it's on the kickoff show, it gives me an excuse not to have to watch. That's just my opinion. But anyway... Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, if that is the case on WrestleMania, put that on the kickoff show. Because that's probably where they're going at this point. I thought, there's a chance we get Daniel Bryan involved in the IC title picture. I suggested maybe, just maybe, because I definitely see Daniel Bryan getting moved to Monday Night Raw when we have the Superstar Shakeup. in a couple weeks after WrestleMania. So what I was thinking is maybe you have Daniel Bryan team with Kevin Owens to go after Rollins and Murphy. And maybe, that gives Bryan something to do for WrestleMania. At this point, I legit don't know. I don't know what you do with Daniel Bryan. I'm not really excited. I love Daniel Bryan. He's one of my favorites on the main roster. I just don't know what you do with him at this point. I don't. Oh my gosh. I'm completely done with this, man. We had Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo for the U.S. title. I don't know why this was on the pre-show. I'm sorry. Yes, Andrade and Humberto, they're great at what they do. They've had some great matches, but I don't give a shit. I don't. All right? How many times have we seen Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo over the last 3 months? We saw it at the Royal Rumble. We saw it on Raw. We've seen it a couple other times outside of that. We've seen it in tag team matches. I just don't care. And the fact is, I thought I didn't do an Elimination Chamber, preview and prediction show, but I thought that, Andrade was dropping the belt. The way, Andrade has been booked, especially since he came back, everybody said, oh, Andrade's going to drop the title. WWE's looking to take the title off of Andrade as soon as possible. And no, he retained tonight against Humberto. It was a good match, but I just didn't give a shit about it because we've seen it so many damn times. I'm sorry. These two they have great matches, but this is just like Andrade versus Rey Mysterio last year or in 2018 or whatever. When you see the match over and over and over and over again, you eventually get sick of it no matter how good it is. All the rumors had that Andrade was dropping the title. Remember when he got pinned by R-Truth out of nowhere at Super Showdown? I thought Andrade was definitely losing the title to Humberto. This was like the 4th time they fought over the championship. So I was like, okay, we're finally going to see Humberto get the title victory. But no! Andrade won. Humberto lost. You can put Humberto and Ricochet together. Make those two a tag team. And name them the losers. The Monday Night Losers. Ricochet and Humberto, man. Humberto, this is ridiculous. The guy lost again. Again. I don't care. I'm done. I do not want to see Andrade versus Humberto again. I've had enough. I've had enough of these two, and I think you guys have had enough as well. All right, this was a good match, but still, man. Andrade won. There was a lot of, they were trading pin combinations throughout the match on multiple occasions. And then Andrade was able to steal the victory when he got a handful of Humberto's tights. I don't know. What do you do with the U.S. Championship at WrestleMania? The IC title and the U.S. titles at WrestleMania have no direction. No direction. I really think we're probably going to get something like a Fatal 4-way. Maybe it's going to end up being Humberto, Mysterio, Garza, and Andrade. I think that's where they're going at this point. There's really nothing else they can do. Nothing else they can do. I'm not interested in seeing Mysterio versus Andrade again. I definitely don't want to see Humberto again. Humberto's a loser. I wouldn't mind us getting something like Garza versus Andrade, but I don't see, Garza is a heel, and Garza was a good babyface in NXT, but I just don't know. I pitched the idea that you have Garza and Zelina, they turn on Andrade, turning them babyface or something like that, and that leads to Garza winning the U.S. Championship. Because I think Garza is low-key better than Andrade. I love Garza. But I just don't know where the hell you go at this point. Where do you go at this point? Garbage. I don't care how good the match was between Humberto and Andrade. You have booked Humberto as a loser. And you made that crystal clear tonight. Tonight would have been made the most sense out of any night to finally let Humberto get that U.S. Championship victory. I'm sorry, but I'm done. I don't care anymore. I don't. We've seen the match so many times at this point. I'm numb to it. All right? I can't take it no more. Move on to something else. I don't know. Honestly, give me Aleister Black versus Andrade. I would take that. Here's my money. Give me Aleister Black and Andrade for the U.S. Championship at Mania. I would take that. I really would. Will we get that? No way. No way we're going to get that. It's most likely, like I said, going to be a fatal 4-way between Andrade, Garza, Mysterio, and Humberto, something like that. But definitely, if it was up to me, I would definitely be doing Andrade versus Aleister Black. So if anybody from WWE's listening, that's the way you should book the U.S. Championship for a WrestleMania. And that's when Aleister Black finally gets his first main roster championship. Next up, the Smackdown Tag Team Elimination Chamber. This was the first of 2 Elimination Chamber matches that we had set for tonight. Man. This was a good match. I'm not gonna say this was the best Elimination Chamber match in the history of the Chamber, because it wasn't. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. But it wasn't bad. But the thing is, some of the booking decisions in here. I like John Morrison. But John Morrison, the Miz as tag champs really doesn't make any sense. What are we getting at WrestleMania? Because, spoiler alert, if you guys didn't watch, Miz and Morrison retain. Good for them. Congrats. But what? Are we getting the Usos versus Miz and Morrison in a, normal tag team match? I don't see that, because I see there's no way I don't see them not including the New Day. It's the New Day, damn it. You know how much Vince loves the New Day. You're going to leave the New Day without a match on WrestleMania's card? I don't believe that at all. I feel like we're heading towards some kind of triple threat tag team match with the Usos, Miz Morrison, and Kofi and Big E. But getting to the match itself, other than the championships, clearly the biggest, storyline going in what was going with Heavy Machinery, specifically Otis and Dolph Ziggler, because you guys know the whole Mandy Rose situation. I love Otis and Heavy Machinery. They were so impressive, and they had that amazing gauntlet performance on Friday. But the best way to book this would have had, and I don't like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, I really don't, just because of the way WWE has booked these two men over the years, especially Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is one of the best performers in that company, and the way he's been booked for years, ridiculous. Bobby Roode, they fucked him up. They decided to turn him babyface from the second he got called up from NXT back in 2017? That's when I think he got called up, and he has not recovered since. He has not been the same since then. But what would have made the most sense would have been having Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler win this match, and then giving us the story with everything going on with Mandy and Otis and all that. You have Heavy Machinery versus Roode and Ziggler at WrestleMania. That would have been the story. That should have been the story. But damn. This was ridiculous. Junior, you put emojis. Junior, I'm going to assume it's Sasha Banks. You put those emojis for me to guess which superstar that is. That's Sasha Banks. The sunglasses give it away. But anyway, the Usos and the New Day started the match with Lucha House Party, the Miz and Morrison, Heavy Machinery, and Roode and Ziggler in the pods. Just to talk about the eliminations, Heavy Machinery got the first elimination of the match when they eliminated Lucha House Party. Lucha House Party were the MVPs, in my opinion, of this match. There was no Kalisto, but I'm forgetting the names. What's their names? Lance Dorado. Lance Dorado and Grandma Metalik. They were very impressive in this. I don't understand. SmackDown's tag team division, they have teams. I say this all the time. Raw's tag team division, they legit only have 3 or 4 teams. SmackDown has 6, 7 teams in their division, and they can't have a proper tag team division. Are you guys kidding me? The Lucha House Party, they're very, very talented. But yeah, you can't book a proper tag team division, one that we care about. Ridiculous. There was a point in this match where Grand Metalik did a swanton off the cage. Lynch Dorado, he was very impressive doing flips out of all over the air. Probably the biggest spot of the match and arguably maybe the biggest spot of the night. Somehow, Lynch Dorado, he was able to scale the chamber and get to the innermost part, which is probably the deepest part of the chamber itself. It's super high up in the air, and he did a swinging backflip onto basically all the competitors. It was one of the craziest Elimination Chamber moments I've seen. But, definitely Lucha House Party, they were the MVPs of this match, even though they were the first ones eliminated, which made sense. I love the dynamic. Heavy Machinery, after they eliminated Lucha House Party, they saw Rude and Ziggler's, their pod was about to open because they were, they got to come into the match last by virtue of their winning the gauntlet match on Friday. But, everyone wanted to see Otis get his hands on Dolph Ziggler because everybody feels bad for Otis, of course. And, they want Otis to get the girl. And I hope that's where this storyline eventually leads. That's the way it should lead if, we're telling a good story on the road to WrestleMania. But, I love the story they were telling, how Heavy Machinery, especially Otis, really wanted to get his hands on Dolph Ziggler. Probably the craziest spot of this match, there was a point where we had Tucker. He was on top of one of the pods, and he did his own version of a backflip or a swanton on all the competitors. And it was very impressive to see that event, especially since he's a big man. But probably the most craziest spot possibly of the night, Otis was outside of the ring, and then Dolph was entrapped in one of the cages. So basically, Otis was gonna, try to ram Ziggler through the cage, through the glass and the plastic and all that. So Otis comes charging full speed like a raging bull. Ziggler's able to get out of the way at the last moment, and Otis trucks himself out of the ring, out of the chamber, out of the ring. Absolutely crazy. We've seen Goldberg and Nia Jax and other superstars, use the chamber as weapons, spear other opponents and stuff like that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't think we've ever seen a man go through the chamber and fall out of the ring. This basically spelled the end for Otis for the night, because afterwards, Rude and Ziggler just double teamed Tucker, and that was that. It was very emotional to see Tucker carrying Otis to the back. Definitely, I'm hoping this leads to, Heavy Machinery becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They deserve it. It's their time. They deserve it. I love the Usos and the New Day, two of my favorite tag teams in the WWE outside of, Undisputed Era, of course. It's time. It's Heavy Machinery's time. They deserve it. All right. Afterwards, we saw the Usos. After Rude and Ziggler eliminated Heavy Machinery, the Usos did a double splash from, opposite sides of the chamber on top of the pods. So they did the Uso splash, and that eliminated Rude and Ziggler. Then afterwards, we saw the New Day. I love the interaction between the New Day and the Usos. Of course, they have history. They've had one of the greater tag team rivalries with the Usos over the last decade. All right. But yeah, basically what happened is Kofi went for a top body, I don't know, called a frog splash or cross body. I don't know what he was doing. He went for some kind of weird splash from the top of the pod. Nobody home. Usos were able to duck out there right at time, and this allows Miz and Morrison. They double teamed Kofi and got the pin. So that's that. So then afterwards, we had the Miz and Morrison going up against the Usos, the final two teams in the chamber. And this was good. This was really good. They were trading finishers. They were going back and forth. And Junior talked about Charlotte. That's an easy one. That's Charlotte. And so after that, Miz and Morrison, they're trading finishers, trading super kicks. But eventually, the Miz and Morrison were able to win this match when Miz was able to roll up, I think it was Jimmy Uso with the tights. And that's how they were able to roll them up with the tights. And they also used the ropes as leverage at the same time, since this was a, double tag team match. So it wasn't a bad match. It was okay. It wasn't perfect. There was definitely good spots. Loved Kofi doing his thing. Of course, he always finds a way to do this in the chamber, even though he never wins. But it wasn't a bad chamber match. It really wasn't. It's just, man, WWE, they made the wrong decision. They made the wrong decision. The story should have been Rude and Ziggler winning the titles, and then Heavy Machinery winning them back at WrestleMania, or winning them for the first time. This leading to Otis, finally getting Mandy Rose with the whole tech storyline and everything like that. But hey. Oh, man. Like, people calling this chamber match great, one of the greatest of all time. Nah, chill. The Lucha House Party, they were the MVPs. They did incredible in this match. I love the interaction between New Day and Usos. Anytime we get those two teams, it's pretty great. But really, man, I don't know. I don't know what you do with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships going to WrestleMania. Maybe we get the Usos. Like I said, it's most likely going to be the Usos, New Day, and Miz Morrison in a triple threat at WrestleMania. I'm willing to bet that. Is what it is. And really, that's about it. That's about it for that part. I really got nothing else to say about the tag team titles. We'll see what they do. I am invested in Otis and Mandy, but we'll have to also see where that goes as well. All right. Hopefully, most likely, like the rumors saying, we're probably gonna get Otis and Dolph at WrestleMania. Like I said, that should be when this all gets fixed and we finally see Mandy or Otis get the girl. Next up, we had Aleister Black versus AJ Styles in a no disqualification match. This was a result of, you guys saw on Monday, we were supposed to, I feel bad for you guys in Brooklyn. You guys were clickbaited into into an AJ Styles Aleister Black match, but you didn't get it. Instead, you got a 3-on-1 gauntlet match last Monday. Ridiculous. So they decided to do a no disqualification match tonight. All right. And it wasn't terrible. It wasn't that special. Because legit, I found it predictable. I knew if the OC had a huge role. Excuse me. I knew if the OC had a big row near the ending of this match, that most likely meant that the Undertaker was going to reappear to try to even the odds. Because you guys know how it is. It doesn't matter how old the Undertaker is. They're going to always use him in these situations. Even though it worked out. This was a hard-hitting match. This should have been the match we got on Monday. Instead of getting a terrible-ass gauntlet match, this should have been the match we got on Monday. I don't understand how we didn't get that match. Just shows WWE's freaking stupidity level. But this was a really good back and forth. Styles and OC, they were working on the leg of Styles. They could tell definitely it wasn't in the best position. And, there was also a point in this match where Aleister Black on the outside did a Meteora on the concrete floor. And he looked like he bucked up his knee again. Other than that, after that, the OC get involved. They hit him with the Magic Killer, basically setting things up for Styles to hit a phenomenal forearm. So, really? I really don't know what to say about this. I don't. I love Aleister Black. I wish he was getting more of a role. I said earlier that, I think it would be smart if WWE did Aleister Black versus Andrade for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. Finally give Aleister Black, that rub, because I've seen enough of, what's going on with the Raw Women's division. I mean, not the Raw Women's division. With the, what is it, U.S. title picture? For real, it doesn't make any sense. I was just thinking of something in my head. I'm just thinking about something about my head, man. Why don't you get Andrade involved? I said earlier, maybe get Daniel Bryan involved with what they're doing with Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Murphy. Why don't you get Aleister Black involved in that? These are the things I really don't get about with this company. Booking WrestleMania, booking these storylines, booking these stories in general should be easy. Should be second nature. But yet they make everything so ridiculous. It's crazy. It really is. Man, I'm going to wipe my... Hold up real quick. Sorry about that. Oh. But like I was saying, man, I hate that Aleister Black. I really do hate that Aleister Black. And, you know, we don't know what Aleister Black is doing at WrestleMania. Like I said, Aleister Black, you know, either gets involved in the Kevin Owens storyline, or you can have, you know, Aleister Black go up against Andrade. I feel like those are two very good options for Aleister Black. I don't want to see this guy, you know, be put on the pre-show or be put in the Battle Royal. The guy's too good to not have a legit match at WrestleMania. And I don't like how he's being kind of forced into this storyline with The Undertaker and AJ Styles. He's more of just a pawn, you know, instead of, you know, having an actual role. Yes, the Undertaker did return tonight. Because near the end of this match, they hit the Magic Killer on Aleister Black, and it looked like, you know, it was over. Styles was setting up for the phenomenal forearm, but right before the gong plays, and I was not surprised. Everybody on Twitter's going like, oh. Everybody's going like, oh man, it's The Undertaker, man. I'm so excited. I was not. I knew this was going to happen. It's Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia. Honestly, Junior, I have no idea which wrestler is that. Two men holding hands in a crystal ball? What? What wrestler uses a crystal ball? Maybe it's Seth Rollins? I don't know. Is it a tag team? I don't know. Anyway, back to the review itself. Anyway, before I get too much off track. Everyone's going crazy over The Undertaker returning. Why? Why should I be excited about The Undertaker coming back? I love The Undertaker. He's one of the greatest of all time. But why would I be excited? This is a 53-year-old Undertaker that should have probably retired after WrestleMania 30. And yes, I understand Undertaker wanted to work with AJ Styles, and maybe they could put on a decent match at Mania, but still, it makes zero sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So Undertaker appears, right? He has both Gallows and Anderson in line for what looked like a double chokeslam, and man, I was laughing because the look Taker had on his face, the dude was going like, ugh. I was like, what's going on right now? And you could see Undertaker was looking at the screen because he wanted to see right when Styles was going to, you know, try to go for the phenomenal forearm, because Styles was trying to hit a phenomenal forearm on Taker. But right that moment, Taker saw it coming. He counters and he hits a chokeslam. I'm sorry, Taker's chokeslam does not look as good as it used to be. Taker's chokeslam, you go back to like a decade ago, Taker had a beautiful chokeslam. Now his chokeslam doesn't even look anywhere close to the way it used to be. Because you could tell, man, those bad hips Taker has. You know, and the strength that it takes. It doesn't matter how much you're in the gym. A 53-year-old man with bones that are battered and bruised like Taker's are, trying to do a chokeslam? Oh my gosh. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. The chokeslam Taker did on Styles. Styles did a really great job selling. Styles and Ricochet, those two are probably the two best sellers on the main roster. But still, man, this chokeslam didn't look that good. Right? It's just Taker's old. But afterwards, Aleister Black hit the black mask because Undertaker, you know, disappeared. Black hit a devastating black mask on Styles. Styles sold it perfectly. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black gets the win. The only way Styles was not going to win this match was if Taker got involved. And that's exactly what happened. Aleister Black, I'm happy he gets his win back, man. But still, I'm not... on paper, yes, Styles versus Taker, that's a dream match. But still, man, I just don't see where they go from here with this crap. I really don't. Should I assume that Styles is going to defeat Taker at WrestleMania? You've had the Undertaker get the upper hand on Styles, not once but twice. First at Super Showdown in that tournament, and now tonight in this no DQ match. Taker's had the upper hand on Styles twice now. So does that tell us that we're going to see Styles go over Taker? Taker's going to get his third WrestleMania, loss? Is that what's going to happen? We'll just have to wait and see. It's sad because, honestly, Taker should have never lost. I'm talking about the streak. Seeing The Undertaker at WrestleMania, it's just not the same feeling it once was. Because the streak was so special. Taker now being at WrestleMania at this age is just, it doesn't feel special anymore. It doesn't. Junior said, twins. I'm sorry, I'm not going to think of wrestlers outside of WWE. The Beltons are retired. I'm thinking about superstars of, that are currently in WWE Junior. All right? You had to tell me at least that you're talking about superstars outside of WWE. Whatever. That was a good one. Good. I got it wrong. Whatever. Anyway, I don't know. Will we see Taker on Monday Night Raw tomorrow? Eventually, Styles is going to have to get the upper hand on Taker. There was a point in this match where Styles almost did the tombstone on Buddy Murphy, which I was like, what? They're actually going to do something like that? Which they didn't, but you guys see where I was going with that. But still, yeah. Will we see Styles on, or will we see Taker and Styles see? Because we know tomorrow's Raw is going to be very important to see. We have, Edge is returning. We're finally going to see Edge and Randy Orton confront each other. Definitely, now the build towards WrestleMania is on. Now we're definitely seeing what's going to happen at WrestleMania. All right, so now this, as much as garbage as Raw and SmackDown has been, this is probably these are the most important Raws and SmackDown of the year, because you have to make them look important, because we are getting close to WrestleMania. And I trust Paul Heyman to an extent. I just don't trust, Bruce Pritchard or Vince McMahon, because they are fucking goons. Vince is so out of touch, and Bruce Pritchard's a fucking yes man. Anyway, I won't be surprised if we see Taker on Raw tomorrow, because Styles eventually has to get the upper hand on Taker, unless they're planning on having Styles defeat Taker at WrestleMania, which I don't see, but you never know. Well, you never know. Anyway. Next up, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits against Murphy and Seth Rollins. This is another thing I don't understand. Yes, I'm happy that the Street Profits got that victory. I'm happy that the Street Profits got the victory tonight, and they won the Raw Tag Team Championships last week on Raw. But there was no chase. There was no story. There was nothing here. Nothing. Like, it was just, the title change just felt random. That's the best way to describe it. It was a random title change. It doesn't fit the overall narrative or the overall story you're trying to tell with Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and the whole thing. Like, you don't. You want me to be honest? This just feels like the titles are just becoming a hot potato. We've had 3 different champions. We've had 3 different tag team champions in the last month and a half. We had the Viking Raiders, right? The Viking Raiders, who had a pretty good title reign up until they lost them to Murphy and Seth, which was random. I was on the record, and I still feel this way. If you really were going to have the Viking Raiders lose the tag team titles, they should have been dropped to AOP, because AOP is an actual tag team. They're an actual tag team. Murphy and Seth aren't a tag team. Even though they look good together as a tag team, they're not a real tag team. And I still don't understand, why isn't AOP being involved in this? It seems like AOP is more security guards than actual tag team wrestlers. In this faction with Murphy, Seth, and AOP are supposed to be the actual tag team. But yet they're more security guards than anything else. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Alright? You had the Viking Raiders as the tag team champions. They dropped them to Murphy and Seth. And now what? After a month, they held those titles for about a month. You gave them to the Street Profits. I love the Street Profits, but the way they've been booked, the way they've been portrayed for most of their time on Monday Night Raw, it just didn't feel important to me. It didn't feel important to me. The Brooklyn crowd made that tag team title win feel important. That's the factual thing to say at the end of the day. They made that tag team title win feel important. But the thing about it is, the Street Profits, they weren't really built up. There was no chase. There was no story. They just gave a random tag team title win to the Street Profits. And the thing is, to be honest with you, I'm not even convinced that the Street Profits are going to enter WrestleMania as the Raw tag team title, as champions. I have no idea what you do with them. All right? This was pretty much, the same match we saw on Monday. Difference here, Kevin Owens, near the end of the match, he walks through the crowd. He has a huge, bag of popcorn, and he's eating it. He was really enjoying that popcorn. I guess Philadelphia, I didn't know their popcorn was so good. Next time I'm over there, I'm definitely going to have it. The way Kevin Owens was devouring that popcorn. Seth Rollins saw Kevin Owens at ringside. Instead, Seth Rollins, being a freaking idiot, instead of focusing on the Street Profits, instead of focusing on getting the Raw Tag Team Championships back, he's focused on Kevin Owens. All right? He goes to assault Kevin Owens. Kevin throws popcorn on him. And the guy gets, the Street Profits see this. And the Street Profits, using their brains, take out Seth Rollins. The AOP were down there. And then the Viking Raiders, Viking Raiders randomly came out. And they attacked the AOP. And they brought to, the backstage area. All right? This allowed Kevin Owens to get involved because AOP wasn't out there anymore. And the Street Profits took advantage. They were able to take out Seth. They were able to double team Murphy. Montez Ford hits the super ultra frog splash, and they get the victory. And the Street Profits retain. As much as I'm happy for the Street Profits that they retained, where do you go for WrestleMania? The way I thought they were going to do it, and the way I would have booked it, Murphy and Rollins, tag team champions, they go to WrestleMania, and Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens teaming up with probably a returning Samoa Joe. It makes the most sense because, Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, they had been feuding with Murphy, Rollins, and the AOP since this all started last fall. And then you eventually, when Joe comes back from his suspension, he comes back the week before WrestleMania, you have Rollins and Joe team up. They take the Raw Tag Team titles from Murphy and Rollins. Then Joe and KO, they hold the Tag Team Championship for a couple months, right? And then maybe you can build AOP or some other team to take the titles off them. And this leads to Joe turning heel on Kevin Owens. And then we get a Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe feud going into SummerSlam. That's the way I was thinking. See how I'm able to book this crap? But no, WWE has made this whole situation so confusing, I have no idea where you go from here. No idea. Who do the Street Profits face at Mania? Is it going to be AOP? Are you going to do some kind of triple threat match? Here's what I think. No matter what you do with the Raw Tag Team titles at WrestleMania, that deserves to be on the pre-show. That's just my opinion. All right? I'm looking the way this WrestleMania card is looking. Right now, since basically every championship's going to be defended at WrestleMania, what I would just do, man, I don't want to see 15, 16 matches. I don't. I honestly think that there's going to be about 4 or 5 pre-show matches. The pre-show will probably be 3 hours long, if we're being honest. Because there's just no way you can put 15 matches on a main card. You can really expect us to sit there for 8 hours? Do you really expect us to sit there for 8 hours? I feel bad for that crowd, man. I really do. I have no idea where they're going with this. No idea. I don't know. Maybe you give us Street Profits versus AOP, which I'm not saying I'm against. I just don't see where they go from here. And like I said, I'm not even convinced that the Street Profits are gonna enter WrestleMania as the tag team champions. I'm not convinced at all. I would not be surprised if they do another rematch tomorrow night, give Murphy and Rollins the titles back, and then this turns into a more crazy situation. I don't know where they go at WrestleMania. Hell, they might do something where it's honestly the Street Profits, KO, and maybe a returning Samoa Joe or somebody else to go up against Murphy Rollins. They do an 8-man tag. I wouldn't be excited for that at all. But I would not be surprised if that's what they do at this point. Like I said, this is another instance where WWE fucked everything up. It should have been simple for them to book WrestleMania. A simple way to book the Raw Tag Team titles. Murphy and Rollins were the tag champs. They hold the titles to WrestleMania, and then you have KO and Joe get the ultimate victory over Murphy, Rollins, and AOP, finally getting their revenge on the biggest stage of them all, becoming the Raw Tag Team Champions. It was that simple. But yet WWE, they want to do random championship victories, stuff that doesn't matter. Hell, I've read reports that Asuka and Kairi Sane, they haven't defended their titles in 3 months. Does no one realize that? No one says anything about it. The Women's Tag Team Champions are probably the most meaningless titles on the entire main roster. For real. Those titles have not been defended since TLC, which was early December. We are in March. There's rumors saying we're going to get Beth Phoenix and Natalya against Asuka and Kairi Sane. Honestly, that's a pre-show match. I'm telling you, if they're really going to defend every single championship at Mania, like it's, a Night of Champions or something like that. Honestly, there should be 4 or 5 pre-show matches. So many of these matches at WrestleMania don't even deserve to be on the main card. Like, damn. Moving on. Braun Strowman versus Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Sami Zayn. 3-on-1 handicap match for the IC Championship. Honestly, this match sucked. And one thing I will give WWE credit on is they booked the handicap match right for the first time ever. How many times have you guys seen a handicap match in WWE? And basically the person that's in the handicap situation absolutely runs through their challengers. Remember when we had like Becky Lynch going up in a 2-on-1 handicap match? Or Shawn in a 2-on-1 handicap match? The amount of offense they would get against 2 other people? Braun Strowman, at the beginning of this match, had a little bit of offense. But after that, really, this match was dominated by Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. And Strowman's downfall was the fact that he really wanted to get his hands on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn talked all this crap about how ever since this started, way back in the fall between Strowman, Nakamura, and Cesaro and Zayn, that Strowman hasn't been able to get his hands on Sami Zayn once. Not once. And that was the big story. That was the X Factor. Sami Zayn was the X Factor in this match. This wasn't about Nakamura. This wasn't about Cesaro. This was about Sami Zayn. That was the big thing. And Strowman let, his greed and his desire to go after Sami Zayn so much that led to his downfall as champion. All right. I'm happy, that Sami Zayn finally got a title victory, but at the end of the day, Sami Zayn won a IC championship, taking no bumps and running for the entire match. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. But they booked this handicap match correctly because the people with 3 people, I don't care how big Strowman is, it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. Anybody in a 3-on-1 handicap match should lose. I don't care if it's Brock Lesnar. Well, actually, I'm not going to say Brock Lesnar. But I don't care if it's Strowman. I don't care if it's Roman Reigns. I don't care if it's a Seth Rollins. I don't care who it is. In almost every situation, if you are in a 3-on-1 handicap match, you should be losing. And they booked it correctly tonight. The heels, Nakamura, Cesaro, and Zayn dominated this match. And at the last moment, they were able to get Strowman. They threw him into the steps and the LED ring post. The 3-on-1 advantage was just too much for Strowman to overcome. And they did a suplex haluva kick double move, and Sami Zayn becomes the IC champion. I was shocked. Twitter was happy, and I can understand. I'm happy for Sami Zayn because, like I said, Sami Zayn has been on the main roster for 5 years. No main roster championships. None. The guy doesn't even win. I don't even remember. Other than tonight, I don't even remember the last time Sami Zayn won a main roster match. I honestly don't. It's been that long. But Sami Zayn finally gets his championship victory. He should have been an IC champion long ago. Years ago. He should have been an IC champion. But, finally gets that big IC championship victory tonight. Finally gets a main roster title victory tonight. But, like I said, this makes 0 sense because you're doing a championship change this close to WrestleMania. What do you do at WrestleMania now? What do you do? I thought what would make sense is we get Strowman versus Sheamus, or we get Strowman versus Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan in a triple threat. I have no idea what you do now with the IC Championship. What, do we get Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn? Do we get a fatal 5-way? I have no idea where you go now. I knew Strowman was not holding that title past WrestleMania, but I think almost all of us agreed that Strowman was going to win tonight. I'm not sad or anything because I don't care about Braun Strowman at the end of the day. That's just the way I feel. I just don't know where they go from here. Where do you go from here? All right? Sami Zayn's the IC champion. He has Nakamura and Cesaro by his side. Do we get Sami Zayn versus Strowman 1-on-1 at Mania? Is that what we're getting? I don't know. We'll have to watch SmackDown and see what happens, man. It just... I don't understand the logic. I'm happy for Sami Zayn. He's one of my favorites. Even though he gets as great as he is on the mic, he can sometimes honestly be a little bit annoying. But I am happy, very happy for Sami Zayn. The guy finally got a main title victory. And after the match, when Sami Zayn was on the apron, this absolutely bragging in Strowman's face, I was laughing. It was like Sami Zayn was shocked to be IC champion. And it's ironic because remember, per storyline back right before Survivor Series, Zayn was the guy who gifted Nakamura the new version of the IC champion. Now he's the new IC champion just 2 months later. I don't know what they do at WrestleMania. As much as I'm happy for Zayn, I just don't understand it. We'll have to wait on SmackDown. The most logical would probably be Strowman and Zayn at WrestleMania. But definitely if we do get that match at Mania, I'm picking Sami Zayn to win just because I don't want to see Strowman become IC champion again. You had your little 1 month reign and you lost. Too bad. All right, move on. Anyway, getting to the last part of the show. This has been a long review. We're nearing an hour and a half, man. If you guys are watching, man, make sure to stop a like on this video and share this video out, man. Definitely, this was one of my better reviews. We really killed it tonight with this review. Excuse me. But the last thing, the Women's Elimination Chamber match. We all knew this was most likely going to be the main event, but this was terrible. This was terrible. We all knew that Shayna Baszler, there was a 99.9% chance that Baszler was going to win this match. Asuka probably had the other 0.1%. But still, man, you buried your whole Raw Women's division. I ranted on this the first 30 minutes of the podcast tonight. My goodness, you buried your entire Raw Women's division. So basically, I'm looking at the notes from Bleacher Report. The order of elimination: Baszler. Eliminated everybody. Huh. I don't even know what to say about this that I haven't already said. You know, you had Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott. Well, no, it was Ruby Riott. You had Ruby Riott and Natalya start off this match. Really, I was not paying attention to the first part of this match because I didn't give a crap. All right, I knew I was not gonna really start caring until Liv Morgan got in there, because you guys know I've been very, very positive on Liv Morgan. I'm not saying she's world champion material yet, but I look at Liv Morgan the same way I look at Shayna Baszler. I mean, not Shayna Baszler. I look at Sonya Deville. I think Sonya Deville and Liv Morgan, those two, they have superstar potential in the women's division. It's just that WWE doesn't know how to book stars. They don't. Look at the way they buried their Raw Women's division tonight. Like, No. I'm sorry, Tyrone. I see you in the comment section, bro. I see you in the chat. That's not how you build a monster. All right? I understand why. Yeah. Junior, that's Shawn Michaels. I see that. Let's see the heartbreak. That gave it away right there. But Tyrone, I'm sorry, bro. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. I understand, yes, Shana needs to look strong, but you buried your entire women's division in the process. So when Baszler becomes champ, who is she going to have to face? Why am I going to care about Shayna Baszler's title reign when she's basically defeated and buried everybody tonight? Why am I going to care at all? Why am I going to care? If you wanted Shayna to look like a monster, she should have just won the Royal Rumble. We could have avoided all this. There should have never been a Raw Women's Elimination Chamber match. We should have never got that. This should have been a SmackDown Women's Elimination Chamber match. This should have set up Sasha Banks and Bayley. Charlotte should have never won the Rumble. You could have got Charlotte and Rhea Ripley without her winning the Rumble. Like, you need to understand, everything we saw tonight could have been avoided. Everything. Nah. You had, Ruby Riott and Natalya in the ring. Who came out third? Who came out third? It wasn't Liv. It was Sarah Logan, my bad. Yeah, Sarah Logan comes out third. And, there was, Sarah Logan did have an interesting moment. She had a impressive crossbody from the top of Liv Morgan's pod. And she did a Tower of Doom with Natalya and Riot. I like that. I'm telling you, man, Sarah Logan has talent. I don't understand why you can't build these female superstars up. I'm not saying Sarah Logan's, a world champion or anything like that. But she shouldn't be looked at as a jobber on WWE TV. She's not terrible in the ring. She actually has talent. But yet, no, everybody that comes up from NXT, everybody you bring in, let's just job them out. Let's just make them look like jobbers. It's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. This whole match became pointless the second Shayna Baszler came out. Shayna Baszler came out fourth. Her pod opened up second. And legit, she eliminated Logan, Natalya, and Ruby Riott in under like 2-3 minutes. She took them out like that. There was legit no point in them being in the match. She got in the match and basically she did the same move to all three superstars. It was like it looked similar to the Big E's big ending. I don't remember what the move's called specifically, but what was I gonna say? Baszler did like what's that move called? Big E's big ending. What's the actual wrestling move called? I don't know what it is, but she basically did that. Then she would follow up with like a stern kick to the face, and then she would just lock in her finishing move, and then they would tap out. Logan was the first to go. No surprise there. Ruby Riott, tapped out. If you saw Ruby Riott's face, Ruby Riott looked at the actual page. She was like, oh man, I can't breathe. She tapped out right away. Then she goes over to Natalya. I thought Natalya would give a little bit more, give her a little more of a fight, Junior talked about Seth Rollins. Yeah, Seth's a 4-time WWE champion. And he's part of a faction. This one's definitely Seth Rollins. That's an easy one. Anyway. But yeah, I thought Natalya would give her more of a fight because, Natalya, I don't give a damn about Natalya, but she's one of the more, I guess you could say, respected names in the women's division. He's a 4-time WWE champion. It's not Kofi. It's not Rowan. It's not Stiles. Junior, I don't know who you're talking about. Trying to guess. Who is it? Wait a minute. Part of a faction. Yeah, give me another hint. Give me another 4-time WWE. Who's part of a faction? Who's part of a faction on WWE TV? I'm going to need another hint. I don't know who that is. Anyway, Natalya's one of the more respected names in the women's division. So I thought she would give, Baszler at least a little bit of a fight. No. Baszler slammed Natalya into the pod. Then, she took like the glass door or whatever, the plastic door, slammed it into Natalya like 10 times, then did the submission. Natalya had no chance but to tap out. So at this point, I'm just like, all right, if Natalya, gets fed, is getting buried by Shayna Baszler and like that quickly, there's no hope. Asuka's the only hope. I love Liv Morgan, but Morgan's not at that point where you're going to make me believe that Liv Morgan has a chance against Shayna Baszler. And you know what also pissed me off here is Shayna defeated Logan, Ryan, and Natalya so quickly that we legit had to wait. We had to wait like 2-3 minutes for the next pod to open up. Because it's not like the Rumble where they come out every 30 seconds. There's 5 minutes in between, each person coming out of the pod. The best part of this, though, one of the best parts of the night was Asuka. Asuka's in her pod talking all this crap in Japanese. Even though it didn't mean anything at the end. I just love that. When Asuka starts talking crap in Japanese, it's great. It's great. Junior said, a 4-time WWE champion that's part of a faction. It's not AJ Styles. It's not Seth Rollins. It's not Nakamura. Who's part of a faction on the main roster outside of that? I don't even know any other factions. None of the factions on WWE TV matter. I honestly, I don't know. You got what other factions are there on WWE TV? All right, I really don't know what you're talking about right now, Junior. I'm pausing the review to try to figure out his nickname is a type of pet. It's not what Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not part of a faction, bro. It's Roman Reigns. But the thing is, the big dog. But the thing about it is, Roman Reigns not part of no faction. The Shield's over. I thought you were talking about factions. If you're talking about factions, you should have said, he's a current WWE superstar that was part of a past faction. I'm thinking of factions now. Nah, you say he's part of a faction, but it has to be a faction of nowadays in WWE. I don't know. Yeah, he used to be. You should have said past faction. Anyway, let's get back. Let's finish this up. Man. We're going on an hour and a half. We need to get out of here. Yeah, but after that, there's like a 5 minute time space, right? So Baszler's just over there taunting. I was getting pissed because they kept panning over the Becky Lynch in the back on the monitors. Like, I don't give a damn about Becky Lynch. I don't want to see no Becky Lynch. I'm sorry. I don't care about Becky Lynch. Get her off the TV screen. You're trying to get me mad. So then, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan's pod comes out. Liv actually was able to get a couple moves in on Baszler, and I like Liv Morgan, I do. But once Baszler got her hands on Liv Morgan, it was a wrap. She swung her into the chains, and there was a devastating part where Baszler absolutely whipped Liv Morgan into the pods, into the metal of the pods. You could hear her head crashing in. I pray that Liv Morgan doesn't have some kind of concussion or something like that. That looked like it hurt. That was absolutely brutal. I cringed hearing Liv Morgan's head hit the metal part of the chamber. That was brutal, all right? I will not be surprised if we get reports that Morgan has a concussion or some sort of like neck or nerve injury. That was brutal. I got to give credit where credit is due, though. Liv Morgan kept fighting, even though we all knew she didn't stand a chance. All right? I'm telling you, man, Liv Morgan's fan base is growing more and more. I'm loving Liv Morgan. All right, I definitely think her and Sonya Deville, if WWE was to book them correctly, they could be the next two big stars in the women's division. All right. But then Baszler put Liv in the submission move, and the thing about it is she didn't even do it in the ring. She went over to where Asuka's pod was, and she was lifting Liv Morgan off the ground. Liv had nowhere to go. Nothing to grab, nothing. I'll give credit where credit was due. Liv Morgan held on for like a good 30 seconds. She didn't tap out. They made Liv Morgan look like a warrior tonight. She did not tap out. All right, she fell unconscious, and that's, the ref called it, so Liv was eliminated. So at least, you guys could see there, Liv in that, even though she got fed and was kind of buried by Shayna, at least she didn't give up. All right. Then Asuka. Then there was like 3 minutes left because Shayna eliminated Liv in like 2 minutes. So then there's 3 minutes left until Asuka's pod. And Asuka's just talking crap. All right, in Japanese. I'm loving it. They kept pairing the Becky Lynch. I was getting pissed off. All right, but then finally we're like, all right, Asuka versus Shayna Baszler. This is probably the only thing we're here for. This was the only thing that I was excited to see in this chamber, outside of hoping we would get, some kind of like Rise Squad interaction, even though we didn't get that. Asuka's pod comes out. She was actually able to get some moves in on Shayna. A couple moves, but legit, she was done in like 3-4 minutes. I thought Shayna and Asuka could go for like 10 or 15 minutes. That's a world title feud right there. Honestly, Asuka and Shayna, that's a match you could put at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. That's what big a match that is. Arguably the 2 most dominant women outside of the 4 horsewomen that ever come out of NXT. Like, this was big. You were getting NXT chants. People were texting on Twitter, Asuka versus Shayna. Here we go. And, even though Asuka got a couple moves in, it was over. Shayna was able to take her out in like 3-4 minutes, and that was it. That was it. Very disappointing. Down the line, will we get a Shayna versus Asuka match? Maybe, but the thing about it is, am I going to care? You're going to have to turn Asuka back into a babyface for me to care about that. Because you guys saw how bad Shayna versus Kairi Sane was last week when you had heel versus heel. All right? If you're going to give me Shayna versus Asuka again, because you're not turning Shayna ever into a babyface, you got to turn Asuka back into a babyface, which I'm not against at this point. But Shayna gets the victory. She dominates the Elimination Chamber. You guys remember a couple years ago when Strowman was first being built up and he eliminated basically everybody in the chamber and still lost? Well, they did that reverse with Shayna Baszler tonight. She eliminates everybody. She completely dominates the Women's Elimination Chamber. And now it's confirmed. They had the graphic all set. Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. And I'm not excited. They buried the entire Raw Women's division in the process. This all could have been avoided if you just had Charlotte not win the Rumble. If you had Shayna win the Rumble, we could have easily had Shayna versus Becky set in stone right there. All right? And then you could have had Charlotte just challenge Rhea Ripley on her own. And then instead of getting that terrible main event chamber match tonight, because this was honestly one of the worst elimination chamber matches I've ever seen, you could have just gave us the SmackDown Women's Elimination Chamber and used that to set up Sasha and Bayley. Now here we are. I am not that excited for Shayna versus Becky. I just want to see Shayna defeat Becky and become champion because I'm so sick and tired of the man. I'm so sick and tired of Becky Lynch in general. All right, she's lost so much of that charisma that made her the man a year and a half ago. I'm sick and tired of it. All right? I don't care about Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, to be honest. I love Rhea Ripley, but the Charlotte Flair agenda just makes me sick. And we have no idea what we're doing with the SmackDown Women's title. I have no idea if we're getting Sasha and Bayley. You know, if we get a six-pack challenge, I'm going to be pissed. All right? I am going to be pissed. Other than that, guys, you know, this all could have been avoided, but Vince McMahon being a freaking idiot ruined everything. All in all, this was not a good show tonight. This was not a good show. Yes, Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak was a good match, but I'm telling you, nobody's going back to watch Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. Nobody's going to go do that. Either you watch that live at Philadelphia in the Wells Fargo Center tonight, or you watch that live on the pay-per-view. I'm telling you, there's not going to be anybody that goes back to watch Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak on demand. It's not happening, all right? Honestly, this was a very disappointing pay-per-view, and that's sad because this is supposed to be a wicked appointed pay-per-view since it's your last pay-per-view before WrestleMania. This is what you get, WWE, for booking Super Showdown so close to another pay-per-view, especially in WrestleMania season. Next time you do a Super Showdown or Crown Jewel or whatever, do it at a time when, you know, we have a pay-per-view coming up that's not that important. Or just knowing when you have a long period of time between pay-per-views. Because WWE had the rust. They had only 10 days to build towards the Elimination Chamber. And this was terrible. This was not a good show tonight. Yes, there were some decent matches, you know, but honestly, that main event pissed me off so much. This was a terrible show. Terrible show. Now we know, a good part of the WrestleMania card, confirmed matches. We have Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the NXT Women's title. We have Becky versus Shayna for the Raw Women's title. We have Drew versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. We have Goldberg versus Bray Wyatt for the Universal title. We have Cena versus The Fiend, which I believe those are 5 matches, and I think those are the only confirmed 5 matches for now. All right? And we have basically Randy Orton versus Edge, which is basically confirmed. So we have 6 matches confirmed for Mania. I don't know how they're going to make the rest of this card work. Outside of that, there's still another 8 matches that have not been announced. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next couple weeks, but now the WrestleMania build is on. No more Super Showdown. Elimination Chamber is finished. Now let's see. Can WWE, you have 4 weeks, 4 Raws, 4 SmackDowns. Can you build a WrestleMania show that we can at least say that we care about? Because right now I am not excited for WrestleMania at all. I don't trust this company, but hey, I cover it here on the channel. I watch every week. You guys watch me. Let's hope and pray that the next 4 weeks we get really good Raw and SmackDown shows and we can actually have a WrestleMania card that we can be somewhat excited for. Because right now I'm not excited for WrestleMania at all. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on the Legit Shoot podcast. This was probably our longest pod ever. I know when we had the WrestleMania pod, that will probably be a 2-hour show next month, but this was pretty damn long. You guys can see, definitely a lot happened. I want to thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Thank you guys. If you guys enjoyed the review, make sure to slap that like button. Make sure to enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, Flippspunk TV, so you guys are notified every time I watch a new video, man. That rant on the beginning, that first 25 minutes when I go off about the women's division, man, that's going to go down as one of my most iconic rants. I know that much. Make sure to follow me down on social media. I did live tweet during the show tonight. So definitely, if you guys want to talk about wrestling or sports or anything like that, make sure you follow me down on social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. You guys know the deal. All right, make sure to stay safe with this virus going around. We will be back here tomorrow night with the Monday Night Raw review. I'm hoping it's a good show. We'll have Edge coming back. We'll see what they do with Shayna and Becky and all that other good stuff. Hopefully, it's a good show. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. I'll be right back here tomorrow night with your Monday Night Raw review and results. And we'll have Smackdown later this week as well. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Once again, make sure to share this review to your friends, man. Because telling you, man, I'm the only guy in this community. I'm one of the only guys. Maybe outside of like JD and Saw Monster. I'm one of the only guys in this damn community that will tell you the truth. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thank you guys for all the love and support one more time. Make sure to have a good night, guys. Peace.